back to another episode of Insight into Insight. And ironically, this presentation or discussion is sponsored by my podcast, Insight into Insight, All Things Societal, sponsored by Intelligent Office, Nashville downtown. So thank you, first of all, thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing this information. And I decided to focus on this particular topic for those aspiring entrepreneurs, emerging entrepreneurs, or those that are already entrepreneurs and just wanted to get some more opportunity to increase their customer base or their presence. And so we're just going to go through one tip in this conversation. One tip through this conversation. Again, thank you for liking, subscribing, following, sharing this information. Make sure you visit our sponsors, virtual office, Intelligent Office, located in downtown Nashville, the number one location and service business, if you're looking to create a professional presentation for your business in the Nashville area. It's a downtown location. They provide telephone, an administrator to answer your telephone. They provide a office address, and then you can also use their facility to host meetings or conduct your business as well, all in a affordable package that does increase based upon your needs. So there's a link below in the description to connect with our friends at Intelligent Office. In that, thank you for following, subscribing, and listening to my podcast, Insight into Insight, All Things Societal, in which I connect with my friends, business, government, and community leaders, as well as myself, to give you the latest insight and perspectives of what's going on in business, government, and community relations. So that way you can do what you have to do to make sure you're coming out on top, and it's a win-win situation through your life and business experience. So today's conversation is 20 tips for how to make money with a service business. 20 tips for how to make money with a service business. And I want to shout out Nick Sheetis, and I'm mispronouncing your name. Please forgive me, your last name. Nick Sheetis, for writing this article. The topic is dealing around entrepreneurship. And I wanted to bring this up again because if you're running a business, especially a service business, and a service business, obviously, if you don't know, is different than a product-based business. A product-based business is something that's already created, something that's tangible. So for example, this pen could be a product. It's already made. It's easy for someone to see. They can get to know what the use is of the product. And it's basically sold by the units, if I'm not speaking out of ignorance. But a service business is a little different. And a service business, indirectly, you're selling an idea. You're selling a process. You're selling the fulfillment. You're selling the customer service just so that a prospect or a potential client can know that, hey, I'm going to purchase this service, but the service, technically, like a product, I have possession of. But a service, indirectly, you are, as a client, you are basically hoping at the minimum that the producer, which is yourself, can fulfill that service in a way that made the prospective client comfortable to buy in the first place. So it's a little different. And a lot of times for a service business to truly be successful, it does take time for that service business to build a brand of certainty and legitimacy. And so that's why a lot of service businesses that are around for a long time, they're the most successful because people are familiar with that brand. And it may not be a national or international brand. It could be a local brand. But the people are familiar with that brand and that service brand into which they feel comfortable in buying. And so as you're building your service brand and you're building your service business, I just want to give you one tip. There's 20 tips here in this article at incomediary.com, incomediary.com. And if you type in incomediary.com, 20 tips for how to make money with a service business, it'll take you to the article. But in this case, we're just going to focus on the first tip. And I wanted to stick to that. I may do some more tips in the future. But let's go ahead and jump into this article written by my friend Nick. Shout out to Nick Sheetis. And congratulations in advance for your continued success and prosperity, not only in your personal life, but also in your career. So let's jump into this article. A year ago, I started a web video production service. In that time, I've turned it from an idea in my head into a profitable and quickly growing business. And that's pretty much what it boils down to when you start a business. You're taking an idea, and all things, if I'm not speaking out of ignorance, start with an idea. What's in your mind, and putting in the action to make it not only happen, but eventually scale to where it's profitable. And so if you feel and if you believe that you can start any business with an idea and not put in any action, you're not going to get the reaction that you're looking for, which is a profitable, quickly growing business. You go into business for a profit so that you can sustain itself as a business, and then obviously you can hire people or bring on more technology for your business to grow quickly. So below, I've compiled what I've learned. 20 tips based on my worst mistakes and biggest triumphs. You can learn how to run a successful service business much more quickly than I did by reading on. And that's why I wanted to share this article. This is the information age. To be honest with you, all the information is right there in front of you. All you have to do is take your time and do your research. And as an entrepreneur, the biggest investment you can make is an investment in yourself. The more knowledge that you have, the more power that you'll be empowered with to grow your business quickly and to minimize challenges. There's always going to be challenges. It's a growing process. Your idea is like a newborn baby, and it's not going to be easy. But over time, as the baby grows, you'll start to get the hang of it. And respectfully, as the baby, especially if it's your first child, if you can imagine being a father myself, the child and you as a parent, or me as a parent, I'm always going to be learning, because a child at 1 or a newborn is going to be different than a child at 5, 10, 20, 60. They're always going to be a child. And as a parent, especially your first child, you're always going to be evolving and learning with that child. And so I always apologize to my oldest child, because he's the first experience that I have, as far as me being a parent. And so whatever he's going through, I'm learning that for the first time, and I may not react the best way. Or I may say to myself, okay, what could I do differently next time? And fortunately or unfortunately, my other children that are coming up behind my first child, they'll get a different side of me, because I've been through that experience, I've been through that process. And, a lot of times it may not be fair to the eldest, because they're getting that raw parenting, but if you're a good parent, you want to grow and learn, you're going to put that work in to learn and get knowledge to get better. And it's the same thing with your business, and your business being your child. So let's jump right into it. The number one tip, this is why I thought it was so important, was to network, or your network. And I think that's so important, because there's so many different strategies you can use, a lot of them today being digital, that we may forget our network. And I want to share this particular point, this tip, and maybe share some of my stories within this tip. So we have here, of course, your network being, if you notice, this person here is connected to this person, who could be connected to this person, who could be connected to this person. So by you knowing this individual here, according to the picture, you can get connected to 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you notice, each individual is connected to someone else. And so let's jump into the article. Let's just jump into it. So here we go. People like to do business with someone they know. People like to do business with someone they know. And I'm bringing that up because the majority of my business, as I run a sales and marketing consulting firm, Hylton Elite Marketing Agency, and our brand and our company promotes corporate brands in urban areas to increase their customer base or their community presence. And we focus primarily on workforce marketing, helping employers and career training organizations attract qualified residents to apply for their available jobs or their career training opportunities. We provide real estate community engagement to get more community buy-in and to help with the zoning process. We also provide business and nonprofit development, in which we work with these brands to increase their customer base, get them into new markets, connect with new segments, things of that nature. So people like to do business with someone they know. And I would say at this point, at least 90% of our business has been referral based. And that's how we've been able to get to this point. Now, as we're growing, we're starting to scale and do some advertising and put more money into that. But I can attest to the fact that people like to do business with someone they know. And our business has come from our network. So I definitely want to just stand in agreement on that. My company's first client was someone who I had met a few times through our shared publishing company. Since he knew me, he was willing to take a chance with us, even though we had never made a commercial video. Fast forward a year, and our most recent client is someone I met through a small business development group. And I don't want to dismiss this paragraph. It's so important because, and I'll give you an example of a client that I had. I was running for city council, and I was at this particular restaurant, and this district manager was running around frantically doing all this work. And one of my campaign team members approached the district manager and said, "Hey, you're real busy." The district manager said, "Hey, we're short-staffed." And my campaign team member said, "Hey, well, you need to connect with Danavan. He does recruiting. He helps employers find, or helps, at the time, I helped residents find employers that they can apply for their available jobs." And my campaign team member also said, "Andy's running for city council." So the district manager made their way over to the table that I was sitting at, and we talked. And they said, "Hey, if you can help us with baristas." And I felt like because I'm running for city council and I do provide, at the time, this is very new in my career, recruiting, I decided to go to a staffing company, which was right down the street the next day, in my suit and tie. Presentation is everything. So whatever you are providing as a service, make sure you're looking that part for one. And so I walked into the staffing company the next day, just a cold walk in, and I went to the front desk and said, "Hey, this company up the street is looking for, some talent. You're a staffing company. I wanted to connect the two of you and see if something was possible." The front desk went to the back. The owner of the company happened to be there that day. Owner came around and said, "Hey, do you represent this company?" I said, "No. Actually, at the time I was like a valet or a bellhop for a high-end hotel in downtown area." And I said, "No, I'm running for city council. I work with a lot of nonprofits, which led me to run for city council. And while I was out campaigning and planning, this company said they needed, some talent. And I figured I can start doing the work as a city council member, connecting businesses together and helping residents find employment opportunities." And so he said, "Huh." He walked me to the back of his office where we sat and talked for about 2 hours. And I just gave him my perspective of the landscape, of the community, of, how to strategize to get more qualified applicants to apply for the staffing company's available positions. And that 2 hours, we had a chance to build a relationship. And the the owner said, "Hey," at the time I had a business, a small consulting business I had just started. And he said, "I want to work with you. And you have two options. We can go try to work. I can try to work with you through your business, or you can take a position with me full time. And I can teach you how to do business, how to make money, how to scale, and have that perspective." I was very brand new, and I had a chance to connect with my business partner and my wife. And the logical answer was to take the position full time. And over a 3-year period where I was working with this company, overseeing their marketing and community engagement, when I had enough capital and enough experience under my belt, I decided to go into my consulting business full time, in which the staffing company became a client. And so I just want to give you an example of how it's important for people to show that people like to do business with someone they know. And so that's a real simple, I have many stories like that, but let's continue on in the article. In fact, nearly every single client I've landed has come from my personal network, and I can attest to that as well. If you're having trouble finding work, you could double your market efforts, redesign your website, or reconsider your sales tactic. I'll read that again. Apology for the noise. If you're having trouble finding work, you can double your marketing efforts, redesign your website, or reconsider your sales tactic. But it would probably be easier and more effective to change your networking habits. It is as simple as becoming more involved in your community, going to events, or joining an organization. And again, I can attest to that being for several companies, their director of marketing and community engagement, that these companies dramatically increased their customer base and their community presence because they knew they needed a skilled individual to get more involved in the community, to go to different events, and to join various organizations. And as I did these things for my employer, I built my network at the same time. And by building that network, it only strengthened the opportunity of me eventually continuing on with my consulting business to where now I am an influential figure in the regions that I serve when it comes to business, government, and community relations. So much so that I started an advisory firm into which my consulting firm provides outsourcing. We do the work, digital marketing, and community engagement on behalf of our clients. Community engagement is basically an in-person representation on behalf of our clients, which we call a corporate ambassador. You may have heard of a brand ambassador. A brand ambassador is sometimes you'll see people at these different events and they have tables and the individual standing behind the tables talking to people that are at the event. Those are called brand ambassadors. It can also be interchanged into what they call a corporate ambassador. And because I represent high-level business, I like the word corporate ambassador, but it's simply just an individual that's serving as an in-person representation on your behalf. And so me having the opportunity serving as in-person representation for many years and building relationships and managing relationships, I've been able to basically gain a lot of influence, learn the art of building and managing relationships to the point where I started an advisory firm where I, as myself, connect with board members, business leaders, high-level executives, executive directors, and managers of nonprofit organizations to basically provide them with insight, access, and resources for them to help them generate more leads, to get more brand awareness, and to increase their cross-promotion opportunity. And all that started with, as tip number one, networking. And so I just wanted to make sure that you are aware that networking and looking into your network, especially when it comes to growing your business, let them know what you have going on, what you're providing, and the type of prospects that you're looking for, and maybe creating some type of referral program into which you give your referral or your network a piece of the money through a commission. Something very simple that you can do amongst, as they said in this article, amongst doubling your marketing efforts, redesigning your website, and reconsidering your sales tactic. Just connect with your network. And so if you felt this message was of any worth to you, of any value to you, I thank you for, again, liking, subscribing, following, and sharing this work. There should be a link somewhere at the bottom where you can donate what you felt this message was worth as well. And there's also a link to my sales and marketing consulting firm, Hylton Elite Marketing Agency, if you're looking for digital marketing and community engagement outsourcing. That community engagement outsourcing can consist of business development. So at the end of the day, if you need someone to represent you in the community, to connect with the consumers, if you will, we can handle that. Or if you're needing someone to represent you to businesses and government decision makers to grow your sales pipeline and your customer base, we can handle that as well. It's all outsourced. Or if you're looking to just connect with me for an hour of advising or more time of advising as far as insight, access, and resource into the areas of marketing, which can include business development, community engagement, branding, government relations, and media relations, or customer service, which is account management, conflict resolution as well, you definitely want to connect with me as well, and I can connect with you and talk to you in regards to advising. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to joining you on the next video. If you have any questions, leave your questions in the comments. And give me a story, if you don't mind. Leave in the comments a time when you connected with your network and an opportunity for you to quickly grow your business presented itself. Leave that in the comments so that we can inspire ourselves and others to do the same. Thank you so much. Wishing you a great rest of the day. and see you next time. Peace.